So I mentioned yesterday that I made a ranking of all festivals from best to worst in PvP. This is not a ranking that encompasses the whole game. It's just PvP really, current PvP meta. And I asked if people would like an explanation for the rankings, and some people did. So here I am. I'm going to be starting from worst to best and explaining all of them, why they're placed where they are. And hopefully some of you will not be too angry. The worst PvP festival in the game has to go to Escanor. It's very unfortunate. I mean, honestly, basically all of the festivals ever that have ever come out were at one point the best in the game, and this guy is like no different than that. But it's just that he has nothing going on. Like, he just does damage, and one of his cards doesn't even have like an extra like damage on top of the damage. It's just damage. And his relic sucks. He has no point to go up from here, only down. He's just really bad. He has nothing going on, and that's exactly why I think he's the worst festival in the game. Next up is Lost Vein. A lot of people were asking why I have Lost Vein above Escanor when, you know, obviously Lost Vein is really bad. The only reason is, again, he has something going for him. He still can get a good relic. Could. Very unlikely, but could. And honestly, the ability to have your cards be ranked up from, you know, your own passive at least is something. Escanor has to wait 3 turns to gain immunity for 1 turn. It's really not good anymore what he can provide. Meliodas is not good either, don't get me wrong. He's just slightly better because he has something going on, you know what I mean? And same can be said for OG Fast King. Don't get me wrong, he's not good. But he has something going on, you know, he has like this debuff combo. Right now in PvP sucks absolute balls, because the best unit in the game is Purgatory Melee, and guess what, he insta-cleanses, so that really sucks, but I still think he's better than Lost Vein, because Lost Vein gets absolutely shredded. At least King can, like, I don't know, do like a big punch and wipe with the ultimate. Assault Melee is honestly where it starts getting like 2 characters that are usable already, which is surprising. I would say Assault Melee is not necessarily usable because there are 2 Meliodases above him. Purgatory Melee, wait, why would you ever use Assault Melee when Purgatory Melee exists, first off, right? Or even Trader Melee, on that matter. And then on top of that, his passive sucks, but he could get a good relic. He could. Probably not, but he could, and if you get like a lot of buffs, but, you know, he doesn't really work on the Esterosa team so well. He loses buffs when he attacks, which is really unfortunate. But the debuffing from his passive can be good. Can. Now, Kusok is that one festival that should have never been a festival, but he is honestly better than everyone below. I think that his, you know, cleave card, in combination with his relic with extra crit damage, actually provides enough damage that I would say he is edging on the usable factor. He is usable. You can like do like pretty crazy single target damage with him, especially in the current meta with a lot of goddess list shields. You can break the shield with this card, especially if it's like a level 2 card, and then maybe like do a pretty big punch with this one, especially combined with Esterosa and Purgatory Melee. With Purgatory Melee, might even utilize his passive pretty well if he misses all the crits, if you're not attack buffed, right? So I think there's like something going for him that makes him like almost usable, and I think that's why he's like the 5th worst character. It's not great, but you know, he has something. Honestly, the only thing Zeldris has going for him is the fact that a lot of people might not have, you know, the new Zeldris because he is exclusive kinda. And this character is still a phenomenal back unit, not only providing a pretty big basic stat boost, but also lowering enemy attack related stats by 10% if they're debuffed. Still pretty solid, you know, what he provides is still pretty good. If I had made the list like a month ago, no, 2 months ago, Lolly Merlin would have been way up. Honestly, a month ago, Lolly Merlin would have been way up, but right now she's kind of dead. She was pretty good for like a really short amount of time recently, like again like a month ago, but she kind of fell off pretty hard. I think she is, again, a usable character, and if you want to use her on the unknown team, she can do some pretty good stuff, but it's nothing amazing. Other characters are better in what she does. Trader Melee is the one a lot of people were surprised. You're like, oh my god, why is he so low? And honestly, there's a combination of factors here. First off, Purgatory Melee exists. Right, let's not pretend that the fact that there is a better melee doesn't necessarily make this melee look worse. It does. When you look at Purgatory Melee, which is a very similar character of the Pierce AoE, but in every way better, you can't just not compare. Like, this character unfortunately was cucked by the design of Estarossa. Losing a buff when you attack is very terrible for him because he wants to have those buffs for the Amplify card. And the Pierce card hits really hard. Like, and that's why he's still usable. That's why he's above Merlin. But the single target for the team that you'd want to use him on, which again is Estarossa, doesn't really work out that well. They intentionally made him not good on the demon team because of Estarossa's design, which is why he's so low. He has a team that was intentionally designed to not work with him. So it is what it is. But Trailer Melee is a PvE god still. Don't take that off of him. Purgatory Bond, I know it's bold putting Purgatory Bond above Trailer Melee, but I think it has more usability. The way he can survive a lot of hits from like a Mael team and, you know, honestly pop off pretty hard when the enemy team starts pushing ult, can lead to a lot of matches where he looks incredibly powerful. He's not really high on my list, but he's not low either. He's like in the middle, kind of like low middle, and I think he's still pretty usable. If you use him and you still get Chimp 1 every week and you still get Challenger in geared, he's still a good unit. You can definitely do that still with him. Lightless is a funny one. People are telling me she should be lower. She's so... Like, I can't lie. I hate this unit because I think she's really bad for what she is. She was meant to be an anniversary character. Like Ban, right? Ban is below her. And Ban is also an anniversary character, but he's from the 2nd anniversary. And this girl is from the 3rd anniversary. So you would think that anniversary characters being always super, super stupid, she would also be one of those, but she was kind of mid since launch. She's good for one thing, guild boss points. And yeah, I mean, she can pop off from time to time, and the basic stat increase is pretty good sometimes. She just takes way too long to proc her extra stats. If she didn't, she would be a phenomenal unit. If you could proc her extra stats in the first turn, she would be such a good unit. She wouldn't be OP. She wouldn't even be top 3. But she would be so good. So maybe a relic could fix her. Honestly, hopefully for anniversary, she'll get a relic. The end kind of fell off with the current new metas. Demon team absolutely obliterates her. And then my old team absolutely obliterates her. But I think there is a time and place where some teams can actually utilize the end better than that they can utilize like Bon or Liz. I feel like the Goddess team is already composed of, you know, Goddess Liz, Margaret, or maybe like Green Sauria, or even like people crazy using the new Ludocio. But new Liz kind of, she's usable. And I think the end is almost like there, where there's a few teams where you can use the end for like a little bit of an extra damage reduction and taunt, but she's probably going to get obliterated by Purgatory Meliodas. Usable though. Pretty good still, kinda. If I was not being objective, King would be at the top of my list. I love using him. I think if you have the capabilities of going first every time, which is not many people, you can make King look like the best support unit in the game. The new Holy Relic is actually pretty effective. It doesn't look like a lot, but it is. You put on the extra basic stats in combination with the damage increase, and your characters, especially Ascanor and, you know, obviously also Purgatory Melee, look pretty impressive. But I need to be honest, for a majority of people, King is good but not insane, and only for like a very slight minority of people that can, again, make sure to go first every time, you can make King look like an absolute monster. But if you can, he is. The Holy Relic made a total difference. What I'm saying, Holy Relics make a difference, and Liz and some of the characters in this list are starting to look like they need one. Liz in the end, I think that they can get relics soon, and I think it wouldn't be bad. We're starting to get to the category of characters that are considered like current meta. Even King, again, if you can like really reliably use him, I'll say he's meta. But Galfer is meta. He is a direct counter to the current most used team in the game, which is Mael with Goddesses. You seal Margaret, you seal Goddess Liz, and honestly, what else do you want? Plus, if you can like stack up his passive in combination with his Holy Relic, your team looks crazy. So I think Galfer is in a pretty good spot on the current meta, and you know, it fluctuates. A character like Galfer, depending on what is the current meta, will be looking up or looking down. If you asked me to make this list a month ago, he would have been very low. But because of the current meta, I think he's in a good spot and he is meta. Festival Merlin has one purpose and one purpose only. One-shot enemy teams with Philo. If you don't have Philo, she's garbage. If you have Philo and you can go first, she's absolutely amazing. You can one-shot Mael teams. You can one-shot Demon teams. You can one-shot any team in the game if you're using an unknown team. And if you don't one-shot them, guess what? You have Nanashi, you have Tarmiel Link, you have ways of also surviving. So the unknown team is pretty good. And this is why I'm saying, like, Loli Merlin, I think because this Merlin is like the best for the unknown team, Loli Merlin does lose points, and that's why she's kind of low. That's not only why she's kind of low, but you know, one of the reasons. And I think this Merlin is good in the current meta with how Nanashi really helped those unknown characters. Now, this is one that I saw a lot of people say, yeah, he's very low, but I understand. In 6th place, I haven't been like talking about the placements because, you know, I'm just going them in order and stuff like that. But 6th place for this character looks low, but when you really look at it and analyze the meta, it makes sense. He doesn't have a team, right? And the way the meta has been progressing is we're getting these characters, these festival units especially, they are very strong on their own, and then we start getting characters to buff them. We get, you know, like Blue Kusok, like Blue Zeldris, you know, characters are designed from the beginning to buff a specific festival unit, which was in that case Purgatory Meliodas. And this character doesn't have none of that. He's very strong on his own, and that's why when he came out, it was like he was so insane and everyone was going crazy about him. He was like quote-unquote ruining the game because he was so strong. And then Purgatory Meli, which was a character that came out that had those characters on his side buffing him, completely overshadowed Escanor, because again, that's how the game has been progressing for those full teams of one race that, you know, dominate. Escanor, unfortunately, he's a one-man army. He's super powerful. Everything about him oozes strength and like survivability and just stuff like that, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't have a team. On his own though, he is the best unit in the game. But unfortunately, that's not how the game works. You play with teams, you don't play solo. I don't think I need to explain Margaret. I mean, this card explains everything. Cleanse, damage reduction, damage increase, buffs basic stats for Mael, and her ultimate is a guaranteed win. I mean, she's like a must for the Mael team, which is the most used team in the game right now, so again, I don't think I need to explain. She's... if I made the list a month ago, before Mael came out, garbage, right? Mael came out, God tier. Now, I put Goddess Liz above Margaret. A lot of people, again, were replying to my tweet like, I hate that Goddess Liz is so high, but I can't deny that she is really all that high. It's crazy, man. And it's not even like just Mael that like made her go up. It was honestly Purgatory Meli. More and more people realized how great Goddess Liz was at countering Purgatory Meli. And with Mael's release, it just increase that because now everyone's running Goddess Liz with Mael and it works incredibly well. We have like a Nanashi, Mael, Margaret, all that damage reduction, the revive, the shield, the so much like garbage putting on just one team, man. And Goddess Liz is back for the demise of us all. Originally, I didn't know exactly where to put Estarossa because obviously Estarossa is a piece of what makes Purgatory Meli, which is number 1. And I felt like I had to put him in a position where he was next to him, but not necessarily above Mael, because Mael makes the Goddess team, which I think is the second best team in the game. In Purgatory Meli, as much as I would say Estarossa makes the Demon team, Purgatory Meli makes the Demon team, because if you don't have Purgatory Meli, you're not running the Demon team. You know what I mean? But Estarossa is another key piece of that team, providing the darkness stacks. And he himself, right? Obviously, you're running him with HP defense, so majority of the time you're not seeing it. But he can pack a punch, man. If you rely on Estarossa to do damage, he will not disappoint you. And he's just so dominant. Again, he makes the team in a way. And I feel like, you know, I couldn't put him below Goddess Liz or above Mael. So I feel like third place was the perfect spot for him. And demons are going to start falling off. They're probably going to stop releasing more demons. And they're going to be releasing more goddesses. But this guy is honestly the best designed team maker in the game. He is what I wish Mael was, because he's not a selfish unit. I hate selfish festival units. Unless they're like selfish in a way that's insane, like Purgatory Melee. I hate the design of Mael, as much as I think he's a great unit. The design of Mael, other than the damage reduction, is very selfish. This guy is doing so much for his team that it's really hard for me to say that he isn't top 3. Mael's the most recent festival. Obviously, he had to be like in the top 3. But, you know, quick explanation. We've been using him so much recently. Big damage reduction, can't be lowered, insane ult, amazing survivability with the Goddess team. He made the Goddess team good, brought back all these characters and made them actually usable again. And I think he does fall second place to Purgatory Melee. I think Purgatory Melee is the #1 unit in the game. The only reason being that he's not just making the demon team what it is. You throw him in so many places and he just works. This passive is not restricted to one team. This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't like selfish characters unless they're insane. And he is insane. He's not completely selfish, I was gonna say, sorry. He does give the team damage reduction, which is amazing if you're using demons as well. And if you are using demons, you make the enemy team so scared of you. Because if he doesn't, you know, kill him before he gets the attack buff, or, you know, walk in these tippy toes in a way that, you know, doesn't allow you to get your attack buff so easily, you're gonna suffer from that. And when you punish when the enemies allow you to get your attack buff, you can see how just obscenely strong this character is. I don't know how long it will be until he's dethroned. Maybe not so long, maybe better goddesses are going to start coming out and Mael will be dethroning him, but as it is, I think he is the #1 PvP unit in the game. Because again, you don't even need to use him only on demons. You can use him on other teams as well, so long as you're getting the attack buff and you're one-shotting teams. So, and you can go first with him, you can go second with him. So versatile. And that's my list. Let me know if you disagree with any placements, but I think I made my cases, especially at the bottom. Those characters, man, they need help.